Hello again, Michael Friedberg here from beautiful North Carolina, and today I have two products to review. The first is a soap from Hedgehogs in Hats. This is the Myrsol hard soap. Not hard at all, is in fact a very soft paste. The texture and consistency reminds me quite a bit of something like the Meissner-Tremonia shaving paste or maybe the Captain's Choice shaving creams. It has a very light and a very familiar smell. It smells almost exactly like the liquid Myrsol shaving soap. It is a coconut oil and lanolin based soap. It has a very similar overall face feel to the liquid soap. Maybe it lathers a bit more easily. So that's the first piece of today's shave. The second new product is a 3D printed razor from Mayur Patel. You can get these through Shapeways, and I think his shop front there is called Liberty Village Shaving Supply, something like that. This version, and he sent me 3 heads to try. The one I'm shaved with this week is called the Bullhorn. It is made from surgical nylon. It is a 2-piece because I'm using a handle that comes separately. I have a Rapira Platinum Luxe in here. It does come with a screw because you need to be able to assemble these pieces. There isn't obviously a 3D printed screw that comes with it. So let me just put this together, put the washer on. I have been using a washer between the base plate and the handle simply to try to reduce any kind of deformation or impact on the base plate. Okay, I have it screwed on. You can see there is a big chamber below. This razor was designed on purpose to be as loud as possible. I'm going to use this hex to screw this on and tighten it up a little bit. There we go. Obviously you could take something like the screw head and epoxy it into the top cap if you wanted to really fix it in there. I haven't had a chance really to do so. All right, let me wet my face again and we'll go and start lathering. The razor is on the aggressive side. It is loud. The first few days I used it, I was using a Wilkinson sword blade. I've switched over to the Rapier, and we'll talk about impact of the blade choice on the shave. There's the soap in the loading bowl. Today is going to be the brush from Bento. There we go. That's the Bloodwood and Lapis Lazuli, the golden nib knot. The soap, the paste, if this is labeled as a hard soap, it's absolutely 100% not hard at all. It is incredibly soft, and as you can see, as you're moving it around inside the bowl, it just sort of moves all over the place. So I'm going to load heavily because I only need to use this, well, this is the last time really. I'm going to put a little bit of water in the bowl. This soap, much like its liquid cousin, is a soap that I would highly recommend that you load pretty heavy. Skimping on the soap does not lead to a very good lather. Clean, very basic kind of soapy scent. All right, let me just drip a little bit of water onto the face of the brush. There you go. Just over 2 days worth of growth. You can see that there's specks of the shaving cream in there. We'll get that all worked in. The cream, definitely not as hard to lather as the liquid Myrsol, but still in the scheme of things, a little harder than you might think. It does have that sort of wonderful creamy face feel from the lanolin. But of course, if you are allergic to lanolin, again, this soap also not for you. I don't see either of these two soaps frequently, if really ever, in people's sort of shaves of the day. They don't seem to come up for discussion very much. Just not sure how popular these really are, but they do work. I just think there's easier options out there. Okay, a little more water. That's starting to take on a bit of a sheen. All right, let's start with that. If we need to load more, no worries. Ugh, better. All right. Yeah, so for the 3D printed head, I have two others that I think are an aluminum and nylon mix, so they'll be a little bit stiffer. This, as you can see, has quite a bit of a blade gap, a really interesting design, as you can see. What do you think what he describes as the sound chamber down below? So I will be quiet for the first parts of the shave so you can get a good feel for what this sounds like. All right, pretty loud, don't you think? All right, let's do the under the jawline. I should have eaten something. No, you get this soap wet like that, very slick. Very, very slick. So I'm going to add a bit more water to the brush again because I think in that first pass it could have used even still a bit more water. Yeah, so that razor head, it definitely has a bit more of a blade gap, a bit more of an aggressive feel to it than I would normally choose. It is definitely really loud. I love the idea of the 3D printed razors. It just means that people get to experiment and prototype and then make those designs available. So I guess in some cases people will share those designs. In other cases where you are looking to protect your design, obviously you're not going to share those, but there is a big, obviously in the 3D printing community, sharing is a big part of it. The other two heads I have are a more standard, a more mild straight bar design, and then a slant head, which I'm really looking forward to giving a whirl. All right, this is the across the grain pass. Very light, no pressure. You can just hear how loud. This is one of the spots where this particular razor design means I have to adapt my stroke a little bit. Sharper blade in here I think would be a better choice. Has a tendency to tug a little bit. or to what I describe as hesitating. If the blade is sort of on the dull side or is getting dull through a number of days of shaves. Also has a pretty good overhang, so you just have to watch for that. This is a bit more blade feel than I would normally go for. I definitely enjoy razors that are on the more mild end of the spectrum. But I have to say, overall, these shades have been pretty good. But for example, right there in the mustache, on the across the grain is where I feel like this razor, at least with this particular blade in it, definitely has a bit of hesitation or tendency to skip. Sharper blade would have been a better choice for me. Okay. Another quick pass done. Now, of the 3 passes, for some reason, the across the grain, definitely the roughest. Blade in that combo, that head is just a little bit harsh for me. All right, let's load a little more soap. Well, and by a little bit, I mean whatever's left in the loading bowl, because it's so loose and soft in there that it's really impossible not to kind of pick up too much. As you can see, those little specks. Yeah, overall, this soap, you know, put it this way, I like this soap. It's good. It definitely creates a lather. The lanolin helps with the post shave, but this is one of those soaps that I just don't really think I can recommend. It just does not, at least for me, compete with the incredibly wide range of options you have nowadays, unless you're just a really big lanolin lover, or maybe this is somehow used by professional barbers who are using it, in you know, maybe creating a lather in a big bowl and adding more water and really building it up. But you know what? It's okay. It's not rocking my world. It does feel really good on the face, and when it's really wet, there is a lot of slickness there, but I just feel like it's a little too much work. And you use what seems like an inordinate amount of product. There we go. Now, adding the liquid soap to another soap, that works great. You know, there's just an extra layer of slickness, and lanolin helps with the post shave and the skin conditioning. All right, pass number 3, against the grain. Here we go. Bullhorn. Take a careful listen. Loud. When Mayur Patel contacted me, he described the razor as having been designed to be as loud as crunching toast, and I don't think he's far off. Yeah, right there, sharper blade would definitely be a better choice for this razor. I went with a slightly less sharp blade, just to see what would happen trying to knock down the aggression a little bit, but think I should have gone the other way. Against the grain pass, good. Better than the across for some reason. Bit of touch up under there in a moment. So yeah, one thing to bear in mind, of course, is that because there is a screw at the top there, when you're trying to get it in close to your nose, you have to worry about just the feel of that. It doesn't hurt, obviously, not going to cut you, but just kind of a weird sensation that that screw tip is touching you. Okay, let's do a very quick bit of cleanup under there. Yeah, just a touch. Wow, yep. See, that is just, that slickness, beautiful. All right, I'm going to add a bit of water to the tip of the brush and then squeeze out. Make sure that gets really well hydrated, as you can see. Let's do a very quick touch-up pass. There we go, just rinse my hands, get all that excess soap off. All right, very light touch now. There we go. All right, done. Let's go ahead and rinse. This may take a moment or two. Let's see what we can do. I've had a touch, and I mean just a touch of razor burn, but I'm not surprised by that because that razor is in fact a little more aggressive than I normally would use, and just adapting to that head style. But absolutely nothing bad at all. As you can see, that looks pretty good, and that is really, really smooth. And that's the other thing about this razor, is that I've actually had surprisingly good shaves in the course of the week. You know, it sounds loud, it's a little rough on the across the grain pass. You know, it's a bit nerve-wracking because you want to over tighten that. I don't know how tight you can make it without breaking the bottom, so it's on there really good and tight. It doesn't have the same feel, obviously, as a metalhead, where you get a good feel based on the sort of the opposing tension there. All right, let me towel off a little bit. Yeah, I love the feel of that soap when you're rinsing it off. But if that's the best quality of the soap, meh. All right, let's take a feel and see how we've done. Wow. Yeah, same. This basically same result every day. There's a little spot here I could touch up if I wanted to. But man, that is a beautiful, smooth shave. very impressed, actually. You know, as rough as parts of that shave feel, and that's in part because for me, an aggressive razor with that much sort of blade feel is not my preference. Overall, I'm very, very happy with that, and given how well that shaves, I'm really looking forward to the straight bar and to the slant head. Wow. All right, let's close this out with what I think this might be the actual end of the Reserve Cool. I've been just using it every day. It's so close to being done. This may well be the end of the line for the Cool. Yeah, a tiny bit of feedback, slight tingle. This is also the end of the bottle, so you kind of wonder about how much more mentholated it is at the bottom, because it definitely seems a little more eye-watering than it did when I first started using it. Man, that is a nice shave though. Little spot of irritation right there. All right, let's go for what I think might be the last. There's not enough in there for one more use. Oh, beautiful. Yep, that stuff's pretty good. All right, warm my hands up a little bit and let that sit. Wow, smooth, very clean. Yeah, I think the real issue there is the Rapira, because the Wilkinson sword had a bit of an easier time. What I may have to do is actually try that with something like the Gillette Silver Blue, or maybe go crazy and try a feather in there and just see what happens. Whew, let's let that cool off a little bit while we talk about the products. All right, give that a quick rinse. Today's razor, 2-piece plus the handle from the Icon. This is the Bullhorn, Meyer Patel's 3D printed razor design. Loud deliberately, and it is really loud, which has been really fun to use. Big blade gap. I would say definitely on the aggressive side. A little, definitely not in the middle, definitely on the aggressive side. Sharper blades seem to do better in this than duller blades. Yes, you have to watch out just when you're shaving, just because it feels funny to have that screw cap touch you there. And yes, there is a bit of an overhang. Overall though, as sort of a bit harsh as parts of that shave are, the end result is a very close, comfortable shave. Whatever razor burn of irritation I've had has been gone after a few minutes, so there's really no issue with that at all. Very happy with that razor head. Quite looking forward to the next two that I have to try. Today's soap, although I can't really show you, well, it is the Myrsol hard soap, very soft shaving soap paste, coconut oil and lanolin based, light, soapy, very pleasant, mild scent. I'm not a big fan. I gotta say, it is so soft and it's easy to pick up quite a lot in the brush, but you need quite a lot. You need quite a bit of water, as you can see. Not really a great lather. You know, rinsing it is very slick, but in use, just really not that great. And then today's brush, this was the first brush that Steve Bento made for me. Fantastic bloodwood with the lapis lazuli inset and the golden nib silver tip badger knot. Just an absolutely beautiful brush. This is one of the ones, I think, if you remember from previous videos, that he set very high, so the base of the knot is quite close to the top of the brush hole here. But the fact is, even with the loft that you have here, it is not a floppy loose brush. It holds its shape quite well and works, just works beautifully. Love it. And then it is almost the end. The end, my friends, almost the end. There might be, well, one more splash in there. So I'll hold on to that because I'm certainly not going to waste it. That was the Reserve Cool from Barrister and Mann. Well, that's it, my friends. We're done. Another wonderful Sunday shave. Thank you all again so much for watching. I really appreciate the time you're taking to watch these videos. Of course, as always, please feel free to leave questions or comments against the video. I try to get back to those as quick as I can, and I love reading those comments. Appreciate the time you take to put those in. And until next time, goodbye.